The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Everybody out there listening to Arm Radio tonight, thanks for tuning into our show. All aboard. I'm Don Whisman. I'm sitting here with my good friend and a man I consider a brother, Dave Coots. You want to say hello to everybody, Dave?
Hey, everybody out there. Hope everybody's having a good night.
Yes, this is actually a special show for us. We'll get into that in just a minute. But as always, and this is really special tonight, I want to send my prayers to all the men and women serving in our military today. And I want to send a great big thank you out to all the veterans in our country, past and present. Job well done, every one of you out there. And I just want to let everybody know that we do have a Facebook group. If you're a member of Facebook, it's a group for Trump. It's called Trump 2020 ! Don't forget the exclamation point. That's very, very critical because we're the only one that has the exclamation point. That's Trump 2020 ! Facebook group. Please join us. And tonight, we normally take calls, but we've got a special caller that's supposed to be calling in around 8:30. So we're going to try to reserve the phone tonight for this special caller, and we'll tell you who it is when he calls in. Good guy. We'll talk about him when he calls, but May the 22nd, you guys, this day in history, and it's not really a big deal, but I've been doing this every week. May 22nd, this day in history, 1945, Winston Churchill resigned as Prime Minister of England. I always thought he got voted out, though, Dave, but it said he resigned.
Yeah, I think he quit, yeah.
I know people was tired of war around that time. But anyway, Dave, I always try to give a couple patriotic quotes, and I got a couple tonight, Dave, I'd like to read. And I know we're both patriots, and we both love this country dearly. And I know these things mean a lot to you, Dave, because, well, I got a lot of respect for you because you did serve our country. But first quote, America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and an unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. That was written by Harry Truman. I got one more here. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Now, I love that quote.
John F. Kennedy.
You got it, babe. How did you know that was John F. Kennedy?
That's one of my favorite quotes.
I didn't even know you knew that one, Dave. I picked that one out. It was a long one, and you knew it. That's awesome, man.
Can you believe it? One of my favorite quotes is from a Democrat.
How could you remember that? Man, you're right. You got a photographic memory, man. That's awesome. But you guys, I just want to tell everybody out there that tonight, this is our last show before Memorial Day, and this is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving the U.S. military. They used to call this day Decoration Day. It originated in the years, following the Civil War, and it became an official federal holiday in 1971, Dave. And I'll tell you, a lot of people out there today, me included, I'm sure you do. I mean, we think about our veterans that fell in war, but we also, we use that day to decorate our people's graves, people that we know that died and passed away. But it's actually a holiday for the veterans, Dave.
Yeah, but I mean, it's paying respect to people, people that have passed, and I think the veterans recognize that, but they know ultimately, it's for everybody, that all the veterans that paid the ultimate cost for our freedom.
It's a special holiday, Dave. Besides Christmas, other than Christmas, I think Memorial Day and Independence Day are my two favorite holidays other than Christmas, Dave. I just love them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think mine too. You know, number one because the meaning for them, but I mean, then plus they're in the summer, so they're warm. I mean, I love the summertime. It's my favorite time of year. So
Yeah, and to me it seems like 4th of July. That's kind of, to me, that's like the last major holiday of the summer. Summer's going to be winding down soon, and but anyway, and the Memorial Day, it's like kicking summer off. You know what I mean? But it's very patriotic, Dave.
it is. It is. You know, I just, you know, I guess I always try to tell people, you know, and just make sure remember it's not about a barbecue. You know, it's about ultimately about the men and women who gave everything for this country. You know, they gave up their tomorrows for our todays.
Oh God! They gave up. Yes, they did give up their tomorrows for our today's day. They did. You're right, man. And let's talk about patriotism tonight, Dave, a little bit. I mean, well, we can talk a little bit about news later on if we get time, but let's try to talk about patriotism tonight, Dave. I mean, to me, I'll say what I want to say about it, and let's hear what you guys say. But to me, Dave, patriotism, it's more than just being devoted. It's more than just support and defense for our country or national loyalty. To me, it's in your heart. It's a way of life. And mostly, it's about preserving our freedoms for our children and grandchildren. They are the ones that will inherit this great nation when we're gone, Dave.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it's another thing too is to me, patriotism involves all of that, and it also involves for me, and you know how I am, protecting the rights of everybody, not just what I believe, but everybody's beliefs, because ultimately that's what makes this country so great.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is the fact that everybody can believe what they want to believe. Everybody can worship who they want to worship. Everybody, you know, you can fly whatever flag you want to fly. Just don't fly it higher than Old Glory. You know,
don't fly it higher than ours.
And
coming up in this next one, Dave, that's what I was going to get into. I was really going to get into this one. It's coming up here about that flag, about our flag, that Old Glory. You know, the red, white, and blue, brother. But Dave, you remember here a few days ago, me and you was in a live video that I did, and I'm not going to mention this. It was basically a truck stop, a gas station, a store. But anyway, Dave, you was in this video, and it hit over like 26,000 views. And Dave, I guess I should have been more. I should have said more about what we was doing there. Now, this company, Dave, everybody, I got so many hates, but I got more likes than I did hates. But there were so many people saying about flags. They said, "Who cares about flags? Who cares about patriotism? Who cares about truckers?" Dave, you said it just a minute ago. I never once in that video did I say that anybody has to fly the American flag. That is your choice, Dave. But if a company is flying an American flag and decides to take it down because it offends some people that are not Americans, that's my gripe, Dave. That's my gripe.
Absolutely, and that's my gripe too. I mean, if you don't want to fly the American flag, ultimately that's up to you. But when you start flying it and you take it down because you say that you have customers who aren't American who are complaining about that flag, if you don't like our flag, you're free to get out of the country. Plain and simple.
You're exactly right, Dave. Get out of this country if you don't like our flag.
It's love it or leave it. I mean, you know, there's no place for that in this country. We have been divided enough as a nation, you know, between left wing, right wing. There's enough of that crap going on. We need to come together as Americans. We need to put America first. We need to make America great again, like President Trump's trying to do. Quit fighting the man. Let him do his thing, and let's get this ball rolling. Let's get people back to work. Let's get these factories turning out. Let's get these budgets balanced. These deficits gone. We can do it if we put our minds to it. We are the greatest nation in the world.
We are, and Dave, another thing, I just want to remind people out there. We are still at war. I don't get it. What happened to the American society? Dave, I had a lady say, "I'm tired of all this patriotism in our country." How could somebody say they're tired of patriotism, Dave?
I'm going to tell you how they can say it, Donald, because they've never been handed a folded flag. They've never fought for that flag. for what that flag represents, for the meaning of freedom for that flag. They've never sweated for it. They've never seen men and women die for it. That's why they don't care about patriotism.
Well, and Dave, I don't like saying this, but patriotism used to be something rampant in this country, and everybody, like you told me yesterday morning, Dave, when we was talking, that when you was a child, just like me, every morning when you went to school, Dave, you held your hand on your heart. You looked up at that red, white, and blue flag with those 50 beautiful stars on there, and you said the Pledge of Allegiance every morning and a prayer, Dave.
Yeah, that's how we started the day. And what that done is it taught us respect. It taught us respect for our country. It taught us respect for our flag. And then as we grew up and we started learning the history of our country and the history of what that flag represented and the men and the history of the men and women that died for it, then as you started growing, you grew. As you started learning more, you grew, and your knowledge of the country grew, and you had this immense love for it. We don't have that anymore.
Do you believe in your heart that President Trump, and by no means is he a saint, but that man has brought patriotism back to a level we haven't had in this country, Dave, probably in 50 years, brother.
Well, I don't think we've had this kind of patriotism since Ronald Reagan, since John F. Kennedy, and I don't think that we've had a president do the job that he's doing since Ronald Reagan or John F. Kennedy. I mean, and here he's doing. I mean, he's being blocked every turn. He's fighting at every level, but he's not. He's not giving up. He wants to make America great again.
But he's one man, Dave, and every time I make a video, I try to tell people, school will tell you, and colleges will tell you, there's 3 branches of government, Dave. But I always say there's a 4th branch. We the people, I consider we the people the first branch of government, and we are also the largest branch of government. Because we the people, we have the power to run this nation.
And we talked about that earlier this morning, if you remember that. We were talking about, how the people, if we're united, we're the strongest force in the world, the American people. The will of the American people, the patriotism of the American people, the determination of the American people. When we're united as one, we're an unstoppable force. And sometimes I think that's why government does such a good job of dividing us, left wing, right wing, whatever it may be.
And we was also talking about, like, we got this monument, this road marker going back up here in Franklin, and I know it's Robert E. Lee, and I know that he fought for the South, but the reason we wanted it to go back up is because back in his day, Dave, and you talked about this earlier too, people's loyalties used to lie within the state they live in.
Oh, absolutely. Back then, that's where the man's loyalty was. It was to his state, because when they were alive during the Civil War, the federal government hadn't perverted the system as much as it is today. So the federal government played a very, very limited role in a man's everyday life. Their sole purpose was for immigration and defense of the country and its borders. They weren't involved like they are today. Our founding fathers would turn over in their graves if they seen everything that's happening today.
Oh, God.
A state should not ever be dependent on the federal government to give them grants, to give them money. Because what happens is then, when you become dependent on it, you let the federal government dictate your policies as a state. That should never happen.
Well, Dave, the kind of talk you're talking right now, that's why I would think you would make a great governor of the state of Ohio. And it's a long shot, Dave. It's a long shot. But why not? Why not, Dave? And there's people out there. I've had a lot of people say, hey, all he's going to do is take votes away from, what's his name, Mike DeWine, this so-called Republican, Dave.
I've had people tell me that too. And I guess my response to that would be, so what? What is Mike DeWine? When our Republican Party puts forward a nominee who has a worse NRA rating for the Second Amendment than the Democratic challenger, we have a problem in the state of Ohio. We have a very serious problem in the state of Ohio. If that's the best the Republican Party could do, we are in trouble in the state of Ohio. The Republican Party I just cannot believe that they passed over on, that Mary Taylor didn't get it. I'm still in shock. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that name up there. It's a write-in, and we probably won't win, and we might take votes from Mike DeWine. But at this point, is that a bad thing? If that's the best you got to give us as a Republican is Mike DeWine, Ohio is screwed.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, and like I said, I think I said last week, that a lot of people have told me in the past, they have to vote between the lesser of two evils. I just want to give them somebody to vote for that they can go to bed that night and not they can have a clear conscience, Dave, on November 6th.
And you know what? Here's the thing. We're just common everyday people, man. When's the last time anybody's ever done that? When is
a dirt poor guy, a guy who was born with dirt floors, has ever made it to something like it? What, Abraham Lincoln? Has that been the last time a guy's ever got a big office?
I mean, you got me, brother. I mean, normally, these they're either career politicians or they're doctors or lawyers. They're not everyday people.
Well, Dave, there is no rules against a poor man running. You know that, but it does take money. And we may not have a lot of money, brother, but I'll tell you what, we got a lot of heart and we got a lot of love for this country, Dave. You know it, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I guess we just want to make a statement that, what, that was the wrong choice for Ohio. Yeah, Ohio, the majority of the Republican Party that did come out to vote, which was in record lows, by the way, they voted for him, so it's his thing. But I will never, ever. And I'll go on air saying this. There is not a day that will ever go by that I would ever vote for Mike DeWine for governor of Ohio.
No, I won't either, Dave. I
will write my name in if I'm on that ballot, and if not, I will write in Mickey Mouse before I vote for Mike DeWine.
Well, we may get some conservatives mad out there, Dave, but I really don't care. We've been given a bad choice this year. We've got a bad choice coming up.
And I've said it before. Conservatives do a horrible job of running with momentum. Some, and I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the conservative party as a whole. What happens is, we rode that red lava wave, as Sheila Bowman likes to call it, the red lava wave.
Yes.
Trump come in 2016, 2016, boom. Everybody's riding that lava wave. Republicans pick up seats. What happens? As soon as they come in, they turn around and they start fighting their own president that the people put in.
I call it stabbing him in the back, Dave.
Well, and all it boils down to is the establishment. The establishment. They're not. The establishment is not Republican. The establishment is not Democrat. The establishment is pro them. That's what they worry about. They worry about themselves first. Whether it's on the local, federal, or state or federal level, that's what they worry about. They worry about themselves. They don't worry about their community. They don't worry about their state. They don't worry about their country. They're worried about themselves. And that's the whole problem with our political system now. Nobody is putting America, I'm not going to say nobody, a lot of them aren't putting America first, because we're going to talk to a guy tonight who does put his community first.
Thank you. I was getting ready to say that. There is one guy out there, I know, and there's probably some more, Dave. There probably is a few more politicians that haven't been bought and paid for, part of this establishment. And Dave, I'm going to go back for this for just a second. There is a flag code, and I know that. Everybody out there that watched this video I made, I know there is a flag code, okay? I know the flag code well. But the thing about the flag code is they don't enforce it. It's not punishable. Because Dave told me because of what, Dave, the First Amendment?
Well, yeah, because the Supreme Court said, part of that is when people were desecrating the flag, and the Supreme Court ruled that as free speech. Now that goes back to being a patriot, Donald. If you look back at it, part of being a patriot is accepting everybody's beliefs, whether we believe in them or not, until they become wrong. Until the law enforcement, they say, hey, this is wrong. I know that's wrong in my heart. Okay, I know that's wrong in my heart, and it breaks my heart to see somebody disrespect our flag. But at the same time, if it's ruled protected speech, do I have the right to go over and infringe on his rights?
I see exactly where you're coming from, Dave, and all I can say about that is, Dave, is our opinions do differ. but our rights are the same, brother. And like these businesses, if they want to act up, we have the right to boycott them. We can hit them. We, the people, can take away what matters the most to them, and that's money, brother.
That's very true. I mean, if you look at that certain truck stop chain, everybody knows I'm an independent business owner. I'm an American truck driver. I own my truck. I spend an average of $60,000 to $80,000 a year just for fuel. I will no longer put one drop of fuel in my truck from that fuel chain, because they choose to not fly the flag, and they choose to bow down to people who say it offends me. So that's what makes me mad. That's what gets me right there. My recourse is they have the right to do that, but I have the right to pass them on down the road and go to the next truck stop chain and give them my business, give them my 60 or 80,000 a year. And you know what? That's not even a drop in the bucket for the money that they make. But if that ball starts rolling and enough people start caring and enough people start coming together, they're going to feel the effects of that.
Well, sure they are, Dave. And I'm going to change the subject here a little bit, Dave, because this is something that's really been weighing on my heart for the last few days. Dave, I can't believe it. It happened again. I know I made a video about it, but there was another school shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, Dave, and 10 people dead, 10 people were injured, Dave. I mean, this 17-year-old boy, he walked in this school with here, now I'm going to tell you, and you know this, a shotgun and a revolver. There was no AR or no AK involved. None of these scary so-called assault weapons, Dave. He came in with a shotgun and a revolver, Dave. Why are children not being protected? We've talked about this before, Dave. There's ways out there to protect our children. There's all kinds of ways, Dave. But I do believe the left, they don't care. I think some of the conservatives don't care. I think they want it to happen. They want to take our guns as the ultimate goal, Dave. I really believe that.
I think so too. I mean, because he didn't use an AR-15, he used a shotgun and he used a revolver. So any kind of gun law that they would have had in place, whether it was banning assault rifles, whether it's banning what they call high capacity magazines, none of that would have worked for that school shooting. Because if you think about it, Donald, the number one reason is what he done was already illegal.
Yes.
It's already illegal. It was already illegal for his father to let him have access to those guns, whether he meant to have it or not. It was illegal for him to take them to school. It was illegal for him to shoot people. People need to realize that evil lies in the heart of a man, and the only thing that's going to stop that are good men.
Well, we've always said, Dave, both of us says it takes a good man with a gun to stop a bad man with a gun, Dave. And, I mean, we could go on talking. I mean, we only got so long on this show. We can't do, I wish we had more time than an hour. But, I mean, Dave, there are so many things we could do to stop these mass shootings. There's so many options out there.
There is, and I mean, and me, being a firearm instructor, this is near and dear to my heart. Giving free CCW classes, CHL classes to teachers.
Yes, you have, and I want to thank you for that too, Dave.
So you know what free classes. My philosophy on that is, if you arm teachers in conjunction with school resource officers, and you have the resource officers or the teachers that aren't doing class, that don't have children at the time, in an active shooter situation, and then you have the teachers that are responsible for students at the time of the shooting, wherever it may be, in their classrooms that shelter in place, and they take up a defensive position, there is no way a shooter's coming through that door unless they do some kind of dynamic entry with a flashbang, some kind of tactical entry, without that teacher eating them up. The teacher would fill them full of holes, problem solved.
Well, Dave, wasn't you just telling me right here in the town that I was born and raised in, that they actually wanted the resource officer, a police officer, not to carry his gun in our school system in Middletown, Ohio?
That's exactly what I heard, that they were trying to disarm them, and then the police union said absolutely not. If that officer is in uniform, he has to have his service weapon. So But they tried, and that's the whole problem, though. We have become reactive as a society instead of proactive as a society. And when I say proactive, banning guns is not the issue, because evil is an intent, and it lies in a person's heart. So if you ban the gun, and I still want to do damage, I'm going to bring a knife. Look at Britain. You don't have to look no further than England. They have a very strict gun control policy. Stabbings are through the roof. Now they're trying to ban knives. So what happens when they ban knives and they start picking up rocks? I mean, the original sin, Cain killed Abel. Cain killed Abel with a rock.
A rock, yes, Dave. Anything is a weapon. Anything is an assault weapon.
I mean, then if you get people that are trained, that know how to use the forms of martial arts, that know how to defend themselves, I mean, they're probably more deadly with their hands or their feet than they are with a gun.
Dave, I know I always come on here and I sound angry, Dave, but I'm going to tell you, as a fellow patriot, Dave, why I get so angry, Dave, is because I love this country. I truly love the United States. And I'll say states and united twice, because we are the United States of America. Dave, I would gladly give my life up today if my children could have a better future and our freedoms are saved for our children tomorrow. And you asked me earlier, you said, Don, would you give up your life to defend your right to keep and bear your arms? Yes, Dave Coots, I would give my life to fight for my rights. And I just can't believe that we have people living in this country today that are willing to give up their rights, Dave. It just makes me mad, man.
Oh, it makes me mad too. But here's people just, they're too busy now. They're too busy making a living. They're too busy, looking in their smartphone. They're too busy watching the next Netflix series. There's people don't sit and eat at the dinner table no more. They don't talk to their kids about how their day's been. I mean, it's horrible, but it's just,
oh, God.
we have a morality problem now. We don't have gun problems. Or we have a morality problem. And if you look at how many of these mass shooters now come from homes without fathers, it's a pretty staggering number.
It's a horrible number, Dave. Our whole society has changed. I mean, I've said this before, but my God, I'm going to say it again, Dave. When I went to school, you did something wrong, and I'm going to say a cuss word on here. They bent me over and took a big wooden paddle and busted my ass, Dave. As a child, a school would bust your ass. Could you imagine if that would happen today in today's society?
Well, there's some schools down south that still do corporal punishment.
I hope there is.
I remember growing up, man. I had a 6th grade teacher, and I don't know if she's still alive or not. Her name was Miss Dindy. Man, she talking about. I don't think a man ever swatted me as hard as Miss Dindy did.
Well, some women, Dave. A woman's scorn, buddy. You got to watch out for some women. But anyway, I think Dave got booted out of here for a minute. Dave does that. This program boots my other host out. But anyway, here we go again, you guys. ABC talk show host Jimmy Kimmel. He's telling Americans to vote out politicians who don't take action against gun laws after this mass killing happened again here in this high school. That's the whole thing. They always want to come after the gun. Come after the gun. Come after the gun. It's never talking about going after the mad person, the crazy person, Dave. I was talking about Jimmy Kimmel. He's already out here talking about voting out politicians, Dave, that don't do any action on these gun bans. That's wrong, Dave. It's always after the gun. It's never after the person.
Well, and not only that, but it's never act after the intent. Like I said, evil is an intent. And if I intend to harm you and I'm set on it, it doesn't matter if I have a gun, a knife, a rock, a bomb. I mean, that kid planted bombs too. Bombs are illegal. We have enough common sense gun laws already on the books. There's enough common sense gun laws on the books already. All the thing that we need to do is we need to enforce those gun laws that are already on the books, and we need to start talking to our kids. We need to take the time to be parents now. I think a lot of people now are too worried about being their parents' best friend than they are worried about being a parent.
Well, you got to become a parent first, and but you can't even whip your kids anymore, Dave. They call Children Protection Agency on you.
Yeah, they will.
And,
but I tell you right now, though, my two daughters, I've never had to whip them. But if you let one of them get out of line, I'll bend them over and put the belt to them. And children's services don't like it, and they show up. I'll bend them over and put the belt to them.
Well, you know why? Because you're an American, Dave. You're a real man. That's what's going to happen in this country when our generation's gone, Dave. It scares me. It really scares me. And Dave, before we go any further, I'd like to give a big shout out to my oldest grandson. He's 9 years old. He's listening to the show tonight. He's in the 3rd grade. He's a big boy. His name is Madison. I just want to tell you, Madison, that Papa loves you, buddy. I love all 4 of my grandchildren, Dave, and I know you love your children and grandchildren just like I do.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Madison, how you doing, buddy?
You got one up there, Coda. He loves you to death, Dave. He does. My other grandson.
Yeah. Hey, Coda.
I don't know if he's listening or not, but I don't know. I wonder why Scott hasn't called in. I know it's only 8:34. He doesn't call in here a little bit. I'm thinking I'll just go ahead and give him a buzz. What do you think?
Yeah, that's okay. Something might have popped up.
If my wife is listening to this, Linda, please bring me the phone and I'll go ahead and call Scott if you're out there listening. I don't know what kind of delay there is on here, but Dave, we'll go ahead and continue until I get the phone here. But I was reading a report, Dave, and it said from fiscal year 2008 to fiscal year 2017, the United States gave lawful permanent resident status to 1,761,927 people on humanitarian grounds. That's larger than the population of Philadelphia, Dave. No wonder our country's gone nuts here. What the heck's going on?
And here I have no problem with them doing that. I really don't. We have to be a sympathetic nation. We have to be a nation based on Christian values. I'm fine with that. But what ticks me off, and this, Donald, is when they put those people ahead of our homeless children and our veterans.
Well, I know how you feel about that.
That's what ticks me off. I mean, you've got homeless veterans in the street who served their country, who fought for their country, who bled for it, sweated for it, watched people die next to them for it, and you want to give an immigrant better quality of life than you do that veteran who's living in the street. You've got 22 veterans every day that commit suicide. That some of them are reaching out for help and they can't get it. They can't get the help that they need. But then you want to tell me that you want to let in, a million plus refugees because of humanitarian? Take care of the people at home first. Take care of our veterans first. Take care of our homeless children, our homeless families. A lot of those families, they just fell down on their luck. They don't want to hand out their whole life. They just need a helping hand up. Give them that hand up and help them get back on their feet. But instead, we're worrying about somebody that's coming in as an immigrant, and some of them come in and love our country. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I was going to say. But the ones that abide by our laws and assimilate, Dave. I mean, I don't really care too much. That's okay. But the ones that come in here and start trouble in our country and complain about our flag, them are the ones that don't belong here, Dave. They can leave.
Exactly. But the sad part about it is, though, they're getting the same help as the ones that want to assimilate, and they're getting more help than the 22 veterans that are killing themselves every day, or the homeless family on the street whose mom and dad or whose single mom is struggling to find a job, struggling to make ends meet, who's crying every night because they don't know where their next meal for their kids are coming from. Take care of those people first. Take care of those people before you worry about anybody else.
Dave, that it is a big problem in this country, and my heart goes out to those men and women, Dave, that have served this country. Like, some of them, there's a song out there, all gave some gave all. Dave, our veterans, they deserve the best. I'm talking living, food. Our veterans deserve the best life has to offer here in this land of milk and honey.
They do. They do, and they don't get it. They don't get the treatment that they've earned, and they don't get the treatment that they deserve, and it pisses me off. You know, I have a meme on my phone that says nobody loves a warrior until the enemy is at the gate, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. All these people that want to talk about our veterans, that don't want to respect our flag, that don't love our country, that step on our flag, that burn our flag, and that that put our country down. What they don't understand is they have the right to do that because men and women far greater than them or us will ever be died for that right.
Leave it here. I need that phone. Dave, I'm trying to call Scott right now. I need the phone, Linda, so I can talk to him if he answers. Now, if he don't answer, Dave, he may call us back here. Like I said, like you said earlier, he might have got busy with something, so we'll call him.
Don, how are you?
Hey, Scott, I was just calling you. We're at 8:38, and we thought you might have got busy or something.
Sorry, let me walk out. Patch me in. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine, man. We'll give you time.
Yep. I'm going to get outside so it's not too noisy. Okay, I'm out. Go.
Now, we need Scott, Linda. Can you connect this with Dave? Linda, Scott, I'm gonna connect you over so my co-host can talk to you. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Give me Give me 1 minute, Scott. Then I'm gonna introduce you to everybody. Just hang on, bear with us, everybody. Dave Coots, you're getting ready to get a call. So there you went. He muted it. Sorry about this, Scott. All right, hang on a second. Sorry, everybody.
Hello.
All right, I need the phone, Linda. Hey, Dave, we got Scott Lips on the line here. He's everybody out there listening on the radio. Scott Lips is a U.S. or an Ohio representative for District 62 here in Ohio. He's an awesome man. He's a wonderful state rep that really cares about the people in his district. And Scott, go ahead, brother. The mic's yours.
Hey, guys. How are you tonight? Thank you for having me. Very, very exciting to be back on your show.
Well, I'm glad to have you.
We had a wonderful big day at the Ohio State House today, by the way. For those of you that know, I represent Warren County, and we're a very conservative county. A second report to us, one of the committees passed the Stand Your Ground bill. So that's a big bill that other states have been able to do, and we've not been able to get it done in Ohio. And we got that bill out of committee today. Representative Sarah LaTourette put that bill in about a year ago, maybe a little longer than a year. So it percolated through committee, and that's a Stand Your Ground gun bill that will make Second Amendment stronger and make our gun rights stronger in Ohio. And then another big thing that happened in the Government Accountability and Oversight Committee, as you know, Don, pharmacy prices have just been skyrocketing. And we've been trying to control that cost. And we put a bill out called House Bill 479, which will affect PBMs. That's the pharmacy benefit managers, which is a hidden part of the pharmacy chain. Not the manufacturer, and it's not the pharmacy. It's the middleman. We found out through a couple of studies that they were actually taking the largest part of the margin out of that. So we wrote a bill, 479, that stopped them on a gag rule. It's non-transparent. They did not have to show us pricing, and we passed that bill unanimously today in GAO. So that's a bill that Donald Trump jumped on, and on May the 17th, issued a statement from the White House saying that we have to control PBM in Ohio. I was very proud to offer that bill, and we passed that bill out of committee today, and it'll go to the House floor. So we had a wonderful day in the state of Ohio today.
Well, congratulations, Scott. Dave, you got any questions for Scott?
Scott, that is amazing. I'm glad you guys get that passed. Now, I guess my biggest question is, what's the chances you think in that bill will actually pass and be signed into law?
Well, it'll have to go to the Senate, but there's been so much pressure. I'll tell you, the pharmacy bill, 479, the Columbus Dispatch has offered 30 articles about pharmacy benefit managers and the runaway profits they're taking away from citizens in only the last 90 days. So it's been a very hot topic. What the pharmacy benefit manager does is they do a thing called the gag rule. And that's where a pharmacist, who you know, a family friend, you go in to get your medicine, the pharmacist looks in the screen and says, well, if you'll pay cash $10, and if you use your insurance card, it's $20. The gag rule says that pharmacists, by contractual law with the PBM, cannot tell you you only got to pay $10. They actually take you $20, and they have to pay 10 of it to PBM. So it's ripping off the customer. So the gag rule today stopped that. So I believe the Senate will pass that law. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb and there's a 100% chance that bill will get through the Senate and get to the governor's desk this year. The stand your ground bill.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The stand your ground bill, the gun bill, I think that bill has about a 75% chance. The Senate's very strong on Second Amendment, and I believe they've been watching our progress on this bill. So that bill has about a 75% chance, guys.
Now, what do you think the percentage is that cases will actually sign the stand your ground bill?
Boy, it's a great question. Yeah, and I'm not shy. You guys know me. The governor and I have not agreed on a lot of issues. So I wish he were tougher on supporting Second Amendment rights. I would certainly encourage him to sign it. And with the strength we have in the House, and I think it's now the Senate, I hope that encourages him that the legislature wants this bill to protect Ohio citizens' gun rights. So he's issued some recent gun bills you know about that we're not very happy with because they actually go against gun rights. So
exactly,
Dave, I don't know. It's a discouraging question. How about that? It's a great question, but I'm a little discouraged by it.
That's my biggest fear right now, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just, I think that with his proposals of several of the new gun bills that he's proposed, that unless you guys can do a veto, a veto-proof legislation on it, I don't see Kasich ever signing. I think that's just my opinion.
Well, we have vetoed several bills this year, and we've done a veto override on several of Governor Kasich's bills. The problem is the House is in a little bit of a mess on its own. It's a disarray. As you guys know, we don't have a speaker right now. We've got to hold a speaker election. Once we have a speaker election, we've got a lot of healing to do to bring our party back together. And then we'll be facing campaigns in the summer for the general election. So I don't know how, I guess my answer would be, I don't know how much pressure that would apply to the government because we've got our own problems. We're not unified. And then the campaigns will create distractions. So we might not have the ability to do an override, Dave, and Bob, I don't know. It's not a great answer.
Well, right. Now, I get that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you too. Was with not having a Speaker of the House right now. I mean, it is in kind of disarray. Do you think that once we get a Speaker, that the party itself? Because if you listen to us, I've talked about how the Republican Conservative Party as a whole, which I love, but they're great. They're horrible about capitalizing on momentum. And I think we shoot ourselves in the foot a lot of times. So do you think that we're going to be able to heal and move forward with the split right now without a speaker?
So the split is dramatic. People aren't moving. We do have another vote scheduled tomorrow. I think what you said is amazing. Think about this. There are 66 Republicans, or 65. We have one empty seat right now, and there's only 33 Democrats in the legislature. So right now, we should be using this time to capitalize and lower tax rates. We should be giving small businesses the ability to hire. We should be freeing things up on Main Street. We should certainly be removing regulations. We should be protecting babies. We should be protecting gun rights. Everything that we stand for, you guys. And without a speaker, that's not happening. Now, I will tell you what is happening. Committees were crazy in the House today. Every committee was meeting. I was in economic development for 4 hours and 45 minutes, and we did 8 bills today. So we are stockpiling these bills and having them ready because when we get a speaker, we want to bring 30 or 40 bills to the party right away and get Ohio back on track.
And honestly, Scott, I think before the elections come up, that's probably what needs to happen. Is because we do have such a vast majority right now. I think we need to try to get as many pushed through as we can and take advantage of that. I think that's the one thing conservatives do to shoot themselves in the foot. You know, we don't capitalize on momentum. We don't capitalize on people's emotions. Because especially on the seems like it's not so much the state level, but really the federal level. Because once they get in that office, they almost turn a blind eye to what the people wanted, and the people remember that. And I think that's what affects us in the midterm.
Yeah, this election will not be an easy election. We've talked about it before. Everybody's heard of the blue wave. I don't know how strong that blue wave is going to play in Ohio because President Trump is so strong and so respected here. He's such a strong leader for our values and our beliefs. So I don't think the blue wave will overtake us. But you're right. If we're not passing bills with 65 members on our side, let's say we lost 7 seats. Okay, so now we come back next year with 58 seats. How are we going to pass bills with 58 if we can't get them passed with 65? So I think that it's time that we bring the party back together and serve those citizens. Exactly. The constituents elected us to protect conservative values.
Well, Dave.
Exactly. And I really want to commend you on the fact that, Scott, I believe with all my heart that you do that. I have the utmost respect for you. I do have one more question, and this is kind of a tough one, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, because it's kind of throwing you on the spot here for the future.
Okay.
But, me and Donald, we threw our support behind Mary Taylor, 120%. And, we jumped on that bandwagon, and neither one of us are happy with the wine. So do you think that if he's elected governor, how do you think that's going to affect the party, the conservative party, as a whole? Is it going to divide it even further?
No.
No,
we're going to coalesce behind Governor DeWine, because you certainly want Governor Porter. You don't want to be ever using the Porter. So I think the best bet there is look at your governor candidate, Governor DeWine selected. When Mike selected John Newstead, there is your upper conservative value. Mike has been a survivor all these years through the ups and downs and through the left wings and the right wings, and he's proven to be a very good politician. And I think he can maneuver, but standing behind him, watch John Newstead. He's strong conservative. He's as strong on guns as Mary Taylor. So he's going to protect our Second Amendment. Look at Mike DeWine's history of life, protecting babies. So he'll protect that. So I think those two working together, I think we'll be fine and protected. I really do believe that. And I did endorse the DeWine Newstead ticket. I had not endorsed either one of them. But when they decided to run together and work together as partners, I endorsed those two guys.
And so I'm going to be honest with you. That with the one thing with Mike DeWine, that's the one thing that I'm really worried about. Is he is so weak on the Second Amendment. To me,
John
he is
not.
What about
Check John's record.
What kind of influence do you think Newstead could have on DeWine for the Second Amendment?
Oh, I think it'll be tremendous. I actually believe that Mike DeWine will allow John to set the narrative and pace us on Second Amendment. I think Mike knows what he's a leader on, and he knows what John's the leader on. These guys have worked remarkably well together, and I really, in my heart, I believe, you watch, Mike's going to set the tone on saving babies, and John's going to set the tone on saving the Second Amendment.
Well,
I really hope that that's the case.
Well, you get to check me out every month. You call me back and yell at me if I don't get it right.
Well, we're looking forward to that trip to the State House there, Scott. We really are.
Yeah, we're going to give you a tour. It's going to be really a fun day, guys.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah. Did you know that Corday actually has, and I didn't know if you knew this or not, but with the NRA, he actually has a better rating than DeWine on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, but probably doesn't have a better one than John Hughes. So I'm not at all. I'm very excited.
I mean, Scott, we're not trying to put you on the spot here, buddy. I mean, I know that you're a state representative, and I know you've got to get in there and you've got to back your party. I mean, because you are a conservative, Scott, and you're one of the greatest men that I know that's serving in politics right now. I mean, you've been to my house 3 times, Scott. 3 times here the last month. You came back to check on me because you thought I was sick. What kind of state rep would do that for one of his constituents, Scott? I don't think any of them would.
I think you try so hard, and you're a leader in our community. I live right there in Franklin with you. So when I stopped by and I found out you were sick, that's why I checked back up on you. I was worried about you. But I do believe that we have to bring the party back together, and that means our candidate for governor is Mike DeWine. Our candidate for lieutenant governor is John Newstead. And you talked about my record. Remember, I've got a 100% voting record on babies, on small business taxes, on smaller government, on removing regulations, and on Second Amendment. So I am out there. I'm telling you the story, but I also been voting the story, Don.
Well,
there's no doubt about that.
Well, Scott, we really love you, buddy.
Okay, well, let's check back next month. I'll give you an update.
All righty, and Scott, I want to thank you. I know I called you. I know your phone was kind of coming. It's kind of coming in low, but Scott, you are a good man. Dave, you can have the last question or whatever statement you want, Dave.
Hey Scott, I just want to thank you for coming on the show, man. We love you. We think you're making a difference up there, and we're proud of you. I'm the next district over, but I tell Donna all the time, man, I really wish she was my rep because I'm proud of the job you're doing up there.
Well, thank you. Your state rep's very conservative. She's got a great record, too. So hang in there. She'll help lead Ohio, too.
Well, thanks, Scott.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me tonight.
I'll send you the show tomorrow, brother. Thank you, Mr. Scott Lips,
Thanks, guys.
Ohio State Rep, District 62. Bye, Scott.
See you guys.
Bye. Well, that was Scott Lips. You guys, I guess Dave, you can unmute it now. But anyway, that was Ohio State Rep Scott Lips from District 62. He is the rep for my area, my district that I live in, and I don't know. Crap, I'm waiting on Dave to come back. Dave,
I'm here. I'm here.
What do you think about our little interview? I know Scott was coming through just a little. I don't know if they could hear it out there because I had to hold the speaker right up. I guess he was somewhere in a bad area. I could barely hear him. I hope you was able to hear him good, Dave.
Oh yeah, I could hear him. I could hear him fine. Guys, that Scott's an awesome man, and if you look at his voting record, he's not telling you a lie. 100% of the time, he's voted for all the things that he said he has. He is a true conservative and a true patriot.
I mean, Dave, and I can't really knock Scott he is trying to keep the party together. I mean, as a conservative rep for our state, I guess he has to go for Mike DeWine. You know what I mean? He, in his position. If you were a state rep, Dave, what would you do? Would you try to bring the party back, or would you try to divide it more?
Well, they're going to have. That's the thing. They're going to have to try to bring it together. Whoever's in that office, they have no choice. It's what's best for the constituents of the state. I am more pleased to know that the potential lieutenant governor is such a stark Second Amendment supporter. That's my biggest worry with Mike DeWine is I wouldn't even call him weak on the Second Amendment. He's just almost non-existent on it. It's just I would like
Ohio's got a lot at stake, and everybody out there doesn't realize this right now. Our state does not have a Speaker of the House right now. Ohio is without a Speaker of the House, so nothing is really going through.
Now, it's like Scott said. Right now, we need to get a Speaker in. We need to become united again. But it's that I hate to say it, but man, I just still don't know. I just can't do it. I can't vote for.
I can't either, Dave.
Mike
but
I can't
Dave,
do it.
We got about 3 minutes left, Dave, but I want to say something here. Just to set the record straight out there, you guys. Our president, he made a comment the other day in some kind of little interview there at the White House. He did not call immigrants animals, Dave. He was referring to the MS-13 gang. He called them animals, and I do agree with him, Dave, on that statement.
Oh, absolutely, and to think that they're not animals is ridiculous. if you look at some of the horrific things that they do, they raped and stabbed the lady like over 100 times and cut her. They either cut her head or cut her head off or heart out. I mean, they're animals. How else would you call that? They're nothing but animals. And what the media done is what they typically always do. They take bits and pieces of it and they twist it to try to make Trump look bad. Mainstream media. If you're getting your info from mainstream media, you're getting a one-sided biased information. That's for sure.
I just wish people would tell our old people to quit watching some of these mainstream media outlets like CNN. That's a really good one there. CNN is, Dave. But
well, I mean, the thing is they're never going to give Trump a fair shake. It doesn't matter. That man could cure cancer right now. And that he still wouldn't get a fair shake.
Well, Dave, there's some big news going on. I think I got enough time to get this out. And Trump, I'm going to read a tweet that Trump sent out a couple days ago. He said, "Wow, word seems to be coming out of the Obama FBI spied on Trump's campaign with an embedded informant. Andrew McCarthy says there's probably no doubt that they had at least one confidential informant in the campaign. If so, Trump," and I quote, "this is bigger than Watergate." But nobody's talking about it, Dave. We got 1 minute left, brother.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. End it, Dave.
All right, guys, we want to send a shout-out to the troops. As always, we love you guys. We're praying for you.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. Come home safe, keep your powder dry, and your head down.
God bless America.